means an orange. And I was like, orange is speaking to me. Okay, here. So do you see the picture?
Okay, now I do.
Then
I
the
see all
thing
the
from my
oranges.
sister, and then the
Yep.
highlights here are orange, and then my computer screen is orange. And I was like, why the fuck is orange yelling at me? It's yelling at me right now.
It is a fall color, and remember, we do like those colors. I know
We
you like
do.
them too, like those
Yeah.
earthy fall color. And I mean, I could see it because I love. I mean, I'm not obsessed with the color orange, but I love the leaf color change. So, like when you said orange, that's what I pictured. I was like, oh my god, the color change. It's just like that was my favorite thing when I went to Boston. It's just like being. I went to that park every single day just to watch the trees.
Oh, that's
Like
beautiful.
all the color, like it's just beautiful. I have pictures of that. Um,
Yeah, and we don't get that here. But anyway, thanks for letting me go on that side quest. But like, it was a powerful feeling that orange was like here.
Screaming.
That's and then I looked in the screen while you were talking, and I see behind you, and it's a kind of like this orange looking. I know it's brown or
Yeah,
whatever the cow.
because I wanted something that is more orangey browny. That's kind of what I'm going for.
Okay, that was. I don't know
Yep.
why that was so powerful, but it hit me. So thanks for letting me share
Yep.
that.
Of course. All right, back to Wicked.
Yes.
Next scene is when Elphaba shows up to the wizard, and we're going to be talking about truth power and cognitive dissonance.
Oof. Got
What I
that
had
right here.
highlighted there is when he says the truth is just what everyone agrees on. It's not a fact. Ah, come on. And adding to it, he said, everybody wants me to be wonderful, so I'm gonna be wonderful. She's like, why don't you just go and tell them the truth? And he's like, even if I do, they're not gonna believe it because they want to believe what they want to believe. And then, she's like, but this is all lies. And she's like, what you are saying lies where I come from, it's called history. And then he goes on to explain, he says, history is very subjective. For some, you could see someone a traitor or a liberator. You can see them a thief or a philanthropist. For others, could be an invader or crusader. And like, come on, this is amazing. Like I don't even know where to start with all of this. But yeah,
One thought that I had as he
go.
was saying that, or two thoughts I had as he was saying that, we grew up saying one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter because we knew the resistance in all forms in our specific countries are trying to liberate from occupation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I fully agreed with that. And then also, what was the opposite to philanthropist? Do you remember?
A thief or philanthropist.
And so in my work, we do impact first investments and we try to power shift through money and through programs. And a huge thing I learned is that there's these things called donor advised funds. And a lot of people will put lots of money into these big companies for good stuff, but the company only has to pay out like 5% a year. So it sits on billions of donors advised funds, and those people, like, they get returns on the money that is sitting there that's meant to do good out in the world, but $250 billion of donor advised funds sits idle. $250 billion is not out in the world doing what it's supposed to do. And these philanthropists are,
Or thieves.
I'm not going to say that and hurt my job, but
No,
my
no,
views expressed are my
no,
own.
no, no, no. I'm just joking
Yeah.
because, like, I'm just talking about
I'm
perspective.
trying to put the disclaimer in. The
Yeah,
views
no, I
expressed
know.
here are my own. Yeah. So I learned a lot about, from the basic of it, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, and also how somebody can throw a Molotov cocktail in Ukraine and it's heroic, but if you do the same thing in Palestine, you're a terrorist. Like, also the double standards of when you can be a hero, but then also the intricacies of, yeah, why would you ever think a philanthropist is a thief? And now with my work and experience, I'm like, motherfucker, it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. Period. Thank you. That was my first thought.
Or invader could be a crusader. Where do we even start? I'm just saying, like, this whole thing could be a whole episode, but I just love how, I don't know, there's something about Wicked. It exposes a lot about the world we live in. There's so many things to dissect within and within and within and within. Go
This is
ahead.
a side note, but I do love the moment that Elphaba says, and the theater all laughed when she said it. For the first time, I feel wicked.
Which one?
And okay, so when her and old boy were getting it
When
on
I
in the
yeah, yeah, like
treehouse,
I'm wicked. Yeah, 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 yeah.
like I wanted to reach across the aisle and be like, "No, help!" Like she's owning it. She's owning the wicked part, because she did do something that was fucked up that day. She did. But
Yep.
what I'm seeing from this whole conversation about the truth is what everybody agrees on is it's all about perspective to the point of cognitive dissonance. It's the perspective that you have and then how much you're trying to do to rationalize that perspective and justify that perspective. And there you go. So like, Israel sees itself as like a crusader for some cause and we're the Amalek or whatever the fuck he calls us. And it's like, motherfucker, no, we are living here and you want us to die. Oh,
And I do like, so I just want to highlight a little bit of the cognitive dissonance part. I know this episode is going to go over an hour. I'm okay with it. Are you okay with it? Because I still have a
okay
couple
with it.
points to go over. So,
Yeah.
cognitive dissonance, I just learned it myself, is when your beliefs and values don't align with your actions. And there's three ways that people go about it. Either they go and match their actions to their beliefs, which is what you should be doing. I believe this is the right thing to do, and my actions now, I will go ahead and do it. Or what people could do is they match their beliefs to their actions. I know these are my beliefs. This is what I'm choosing to do. And even though this is wrong, it doesn't align, but it's easier for me to just suck it up and stay in this place. And now I just convince myself that no, these are my beliefs. I'm gonna do this, this, and that. Or the third part, which is the craziest part, is when you start justifying your actions. Like, so you keep your beliefs as is, you keep your actions that are not matching, and then you just live in this like justification. I was like, I know it's not what I believe. I'm still going to do it because I don't mean this. I'm still a good person. I only stole this much. I just killed one. This girl that I saw on a video, she was saying, they were telling her like how many people were killed in Palestine, and she's like, yeah, but like if you think about it, it's like a ratio of like one person per building. Or I was like, what the fuck are you? Like
I remember
one
that.
person is enough person, or something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's
Yeah.
like when
Or
you
should
justify
we blow
that,
up a
like
school?
it's
It's like, should we
yeah,
blow up a school? No. Is there a terrorist in the school? Well, then blow up the school and everyone in it. It's like, what the fuck? But then in America, that belief would shift because we would not blow up a school because there's a shooter in it. The rationalizations do get exposed as a logical fallacy if somebody's listening and has information.
yes. I think what's so interesting here too is that, for example, Alphaba's character, how many people, I mean, I relate a lot to her. You probably relate in like her fight and justice and whatnot. But how often do we found ourselves, and we were talking about that, you and I were talking about like boycotting and like what we actually, cut or not, and like how do we might fall into sometimes like, I guess I just want this one time, it's whatever or whatnot. And that's what actually was shown in that scene when like she was trying to argue with him and like he kind of convinced her with those justification of like he was using the cognitive dissonance justification as like, well, you could see it as traitor, I'm just seeing it as liberator, you could see it as this, and then like he kind of convinced her and you're gonna be wonderful and just join us and like think, and then she bought it. Like she eventually was like, "Ugh, you know what, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. It is like he's not that bad. Okay, if you release the monkeys and he did, then okay, I guess we're fine. Like the like problem solved. Like she can move on with her life. She'll have an easier life. And then we like as humans, like how easy it is sometimes to just convince us. Like it doesn't matter how like your truth aligns. Yeah. And then you just convince yourself that you're the hero, even though you're causing harm, like the wizard is doing. Or for Alphaba, we're like, I guess it's just easier. Let me just fold back and like justification, cognitive dissonance. And then it wasn't until she saw the animals in the cages, she's like, what the fuck? Like, no, 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 this is wrong. This is not me. I can't do this. Yeah, I just thought that was an interesting scene.
I love that scene very much because I was thinking throughout it, what's going to go wrong? Because this doesn't make sense. I will say I really enjoyed watching Alphaba, even though I knew it wasn't going to work out. I enjoyed watching that scene. I enjoyed watching her dance and just kind of live without the pressure of truth and knowing that you have to do something. And that
Mhm.
resonated deeply with me, obviously, and with you, because
Mhm.
we have truths that we hold and they're heavy. And it's like every minute of every day, we don't want to have to be fixing this problem that we didn't fucking create. And I kind of just want to dance sometimes, you know?
That's what we're talking about, play. We need to play more. We don't play enough. We're always, I wanna work, I wanna build, I wanna help, I wanna give back. When do we play?
When do we play? So I had a lot of
So
thoughts about
Amal
what
and
you just
I's
said.
new goal for 2026 is that we're gonna do more escape rooms. Now that we are both aligning on strategy games and things like that that we like, we're just gonna do more play. We're gonna do more board games, escape rooms, find strategy games in the area. We're gonna play. We're just gonna have time a week. We're just playing. No production is happening.
Except we
Anyway,
will record the process and we will probably talk about it on air, but that's because we like to play this way. This is us. This is our version
that
of
sounds
like,
good.
this is what we like to do. But hell
Yep.
yeah, yeah. I love that you brought that up. I am going to have to put us on hold for a second. I think my cat is knocking on the door. That's a real
Do that.
sentence.
Do that.
Hold on. I love that girl. If you ever look at my Instagram stories, to anyone who might be watching in the ether, I do talk a lot about my like love hate relationship with the cat. It's really love, but like I love hating on her. And she has a really fun personality. So she'll literally jump up, like knock on the door and like slam her body against the doorknob so you know she's knocking. And then she comes in yelling at you like why did you make me wait? And I love her entitlement. I just love her personality. I love that she's so big and mean. And she's so cute. Anyway, thanks for that. I do need to work out more. We do need more physical activity because just running up and down the stairs right now, Noel,
We will do that.
especially if we're gonna go on like Survivor and Fear Factor and all these shows, go. I want to be like Parvati and Cass, just chilling in the torture
Let's
chambers.
do
Like,
it. I am. That's my goal for 2026. I'm going back to the gym. I'm hiring a trainer and I'm going to be strong. Like,
say
my
less. Me
goal
too.
is strength.
Me too. I want core strength
Yes.
more than anything. Okay, I have thoughts about what you said. Did you conclude your thoughts about that whole scene?
I did. It was more of an observation. Interesting how people perspective changes, but keep going before we
Yeah,
move on.
I absolutely just wanted to say yes, they breadcrumb us, when they say, "Oh, you'll get this," the little trade-offs, and it could be just, what's that called? Performative. "Oh, yeah, you'll have, Arab Row on Hulu or a Black Row on Hulu or a Black History Month," and it's like, "No, we just want civil rights. Like, we just want to be equal." And it's like we're making all these sacrifices for fucking breadcrumbs. And it reminds me of the most toxic relationships I've had where I'm just begging for the bare minimum and settling for it because it was
Mm-hmm.
so hard just to get that bare minimum. But it is always the most charming people. You gotta love what's his name in real life? Jeff, God,
Just Goldsman.
no, Goldblum. Damn, he's like a legend, and I'm out here butchering his name.
Yes,
Whatever.
yes. I'll find him.
He is so charming. He is so charming in everything he's ever done that I've ever
Goldblum.
seen him in. Yes. I love him. I hope he's not a Zionist. I love him. And he represents the Mamdanis, the Obamas, the charming leaders. And I'm not going to say anything about either of their characters, right? Like, I'm just saying when a leader is charming, it is so easy to follow them. And I see how Elphaba let herself have that moment with him because
Mm-hmm.
my God. And then it is that rationalization that Elphaba had in that moment. Maybe I can change it from the inside. Maybe it would be easier. Maybe I don't want to suffer and be alone and have all of this pressure on me all of the time. Maybe I can do it. Then they strike that symbolic deal, which was a big one. I think him letting go of his spies was huge, actually. That was not a baby breadcrumb. I think it's just kind of it was dissonance that made her forget that he has animals in cages. Like, well, bitch, like, come on, that's not it. The last thing I'll say is
Well,
that
he
he
was
does.
like, they actually like sitting up there. He literally had him in a cage too. Like, yeah.
No, yeah, all of that. They make it sound like some of the slaves liked slavery. They had nice owners,
Yes,
and
yes.
and so it's
They
exactly
just
that.
don't
We've
want to
seen
think.
this.
They just want someone to think for them. It's easier.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and we need to force XYZ religion on them because that's how we're going to keep them listening to us. have them invest in an idea of how you are supposed to behave and don't cross that while we're crossing it at every fucking turn. But anyway, the last part, which I don't know, you might have to cut me and say no, that's part of a different conversation, but it does go back to what we were talking about in terms of pace and urgency of said goal. So for Galinda, yeah, she had time to take the long route strategy because she's not actually the vulnerable population. Whereas Elphaba felt like one with the vulnerable population. And so her strategy required bold moves and bigness because she needed that goal met before she died. Whereas Galinda was like, it needs to happen after my goal of being seen and loved. And so I do think that urgency is what helps to break cognitive dissonance and that ability to, again, it goes back to that first step of genocide, right? The othering. If Ariana really put herself in the feet or paws of the animals the way Elphaba does, maybe she would have learned her lesson in part two a little faster. But she had to lose a friend before she learned her lesson, a human.
And there's a little privilege, not privilege, but more exposure. Alphaba was raised by animals. Literally, they're the only people who actually, like, she
Hmm.
understands them. She see their, empathy. She sees them as like a spirit and soul, not just like it to be caged. Glinda never had any exposure of that. She only had, you know what I mean? It's like when you're
Like the goat
raised with a
teacher.
specific minority. Yeah, it's like when you're raised with a specific minority, you don't see the scary part that you've been advertised about. So there is that part of it as well for Glinda that, like, why would she know? I mean,
No, you're right.
realistically.
It's easy for me to identify like the oppressed in every situation because I am of the oppressed. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy to see. Oh yeah, no, I know that feeling. I've been there. It's a different oppressor, but I know. Actually, it's always the same oppressor when we realize it, but whatever.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, that's a good point. Thanks for bringing that to light. I wonder who Alphaba would have been without that influence of that beautiful bear. I love Mama Bear.
I did too. All right. Moving on.
I do
Anything else?
before we move on, I just wanna honor the mama bears of the world. I think that is really important because it really is. Like, I could cry every time I think about how many and you've seen me cry about this, like, 6 times on this show, but anytime a mom steps in where there's a vacancy of a mother, they are saving a life, and in the case of Mama Bear, she didn't just save Elphaba's life, she saved every life that Elphaba saved. So I think that's always supposed to have it to do.
Yeah. I thinking of that actually as you were saying that I reached out to my mother-in-law and this morning and I said like that I loved you, like I love you regardless of, where, we're heading and like you'll always be my family. And I said thank you for being there for me at the time where like I needed family because when I first came out and I met my husband at that time, she filled in that family role that I needed when my family was still trying to process the whole gay and coming out, and they couldn't be there for me in that way. And then she just was there. Like she was my reasoning. She was just like, you need to give him a little more space. She's like, it took you 25 years at that time, like to for you to figure it out. Like, give your mom a little more space. Like she will get there. But and she did. But she was that mama bear for me. So I just thought about that, and I messaged her about it this morning. So
I'm glad you did. I love her
yeah,
and I love the way she thinks. I can't
yep,
imagine
me
like
too.
having her energy at that time.
It was amazing. She actually has always been there for me in multiple areas that I could remember, even like work stuff that I just needed a hug or someone to be like, I'm here for you. She is such a mama bear. So yeah, if you're listening to this, I love you. Already told you that this morning, but again,
And if
you
you're
ready to
listening
move
to
on?
this, yes, give somebody their flowers today. Mama bear, papa bear, friend bear, tell somebody what they mean to you right now. Just shoot them a text and say, "So sorry, random. I know, love you, want you to know how much you mean to me. Bye." Like, pop in, pop out. It doesn't have to be this big deal. To give people their flowers right now.
Yes, I agree. All right. We're moving on to the scene where Alphaba realized that Fiero is about to be killed. They captured him. He sacrificed himself for her, blah, blah, blah. And then she had to do some magic to like try to save his life. But she doesn't know if that works or not. And then we go into that song where she sings, "No good deed goes unpunished."
Mm.
And what I really like, the highlights for me, where when she says, why did I even do this? Like when you know your path, you know what you're doing is right, yet you are faced with multiple punches after punches after punches. She got to a place where she said, was I doing good or just seeking attention? Like, was even any of this worth it? Like what, like you start second guessing yourself, and then like the universe questions behind like self-sacrifice, and like does good deeds comes from like ego or validation. So like she was just getting in her head, and I think that's what gave her like, I think, spoiler alert to the end of it, when she decides to like, fuck all of this, fuck everyone, I'm just gonna leave. I'm
Mhm.
exhausted of this, like I just need to go. And I think that's probably came after this, because she started to realize or second guess that she's not doing any good deeds. And like maybe she's getting punished for all those good deeds. And then she goes through her memory. Her sister just died. Dr. Dilliman, I think his name is, like he was like in a cage, can't even speak anymore. And now the love of her life, Fiero, she doesn't know if he died or what. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? How like people start processing and second guessing even the good deeds that they're doing.
Immediately, my thought was about the quote, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." But and that's another one of those quotes that I think is often misunderstood. And it's not about the like good it's not about the intention that's the problem. It's about the inaction behind the intention. That's what goes to hell. However, I think what Alphaba is dealing with is that she did put a lot of action behind her intentions. And I see what she was saying as, I need a fucking break. I'm tired. I've been doing good my whole life, and it just brings me more work. Every time I try to stand up for someone, I end up hurting them, which is another version of that. The road to hell is like harmful good deeds. You meant to do well, but the impact was negative. So I think that's just part of the hero journey, where you're in your biggest battle, and you know you're on the bridge, you're in the middle of the bridge, and you're like, I kind of just wish I would have took a different route sometimes.
And I actually feel like that was a good moment of transformation as well for her to like own her powers and accept that I don't need to keep wanting to change their perspective of me, because by the end of that song, she eventually says at the end, and if wicked is what they want me to be, then I will be the wicked witch. And like that's it. Here you go. I am the wicked witch of the east or west.
Mhm.
But then it's like, you know how we talk about like the villain and like just accept your villain. Like, you know what? I know I'm good. I know I tried my best. You want me to be a wicked? I am wicked. What else do you want? Fuck off. So yeah, I thought that was a good character development to like peak of like let go. And I think she says too in some part, if losing love is what I've been scared of, well, I've lost it. I've lost Fiero, I've lost my sister, I've lost Doctor. Like that's it. Like there's nothing else to lose. Why? Like I can't keep living my life afraid of losing love. I'm just gonna be the wicked, and if you fucking love me, then love me, and if you can't see that, then that's on you.
And I think that mirrors Galinda's arc as well. Like they both had to let go of control. They had to let go of controlling other people's perception of them.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. I'm wicked. She knows who she is. She knows she's not. And that's enough for her. And that's when both of them unlocked their biggest power in the series. When they said, you know what, I
Yeah,
don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I'm gonna move how I move.
exactly. So let's move to. Do you wanna say anything on Wig, or do you want? Because I'm gonna next is Glinda in the bubble. Are you ready for that? And we can talk
Yes.
parallel, or do you
Yes.
want to talk about separately?
No,
Okay, this
no.
is the
Tell
highlight
me.
for me because I've been obsessed with her bubble and the popping for this whole week. I've been listening to that song on repeat. So this is the part where Glinda realizes that her life is built on lies and she's the girl who has everything but doesn't know who she is. And this is going to be a long read, but I'm still going to go for it because this is the lyrics from that song that says a lot. So she says, "Look, there's that beautiful girl with a beautiful life built on lies. Because all that's required to live in a dream is endlessly closing your eyes. But the truth has a way of seeping on in beneath the surface and sheen, and blind as you try to be, eventually it's hard to unsee what you've seen. And so that beautiful girl with a beautiful life has a question that haunts her somehow. If she comes down from the sky, gives the real world a try, who in the world is she now? Isn't it time for that bubble to pop?" Do you want to sit with that for a minute?
This is exactly what I feel in my life right now, where I don't think I've been Galinda fake at all. I think who I am and who people know me to be is real, but it's overly composed, overly polished, overly careful, overly all of that, doing too much. And I think she's realizing like, but what the fuck is it worth if I don't really know who's riding with me for real? What's it worth if I don't really know who I want to be? Like, what's it really worth if I'm not out here playing? Yeah. Good build off that. Yeah.
I don't know where to start with this. I've been sitting with this for a long time. I think I think the meaningful part of it is that I'm seeing a lot of people in my life without like saying specific names now. Like I'm talking family, I'm talking friends, I'm talking whoever that I run into. I haven't experienced it myself, but I've seen it through them, especially with that bubble. I think I relate more to Alphaba with like my fight and like the right and da 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 da. And like the seeking of home and want to be accepted. But like with that bubble, like how many people go through their life thinking that if I do this, I'll be happy. If I get this, I'll be happy. And you keep going and doing and doing and doing, and you get there and you build this life. But it was always about what you thought will make you happy. And it's not actually, it all starts within. You never took the time to actually pop that freaking bubble. Like there's another part in the song where it says like it's like I like as that bubble is floating up in the sky, like everybody's looking at it like, oh, it must be such a nice life, it must be so pretty. And she's like, when am I gonna fucking pop that bubble and come down from the sky, be on earth and see what the real world is about, and who the fuck am I just love it. I just love this song. I just been on repeat. So yeah, it's like basically, and the other part that I really like too is like when she says closing her eyes to stay in the dream. And she says
Mhm.
something more in the lyrics that I didn't put in here about like you'd start telling yourself stories to fall asleep at night to convince yourself you're happy. I'm sending you that song. You have to like re-listen to it because like you would see it in a different perspective. But yeah,
No,
tell
I
me.
think it's beautiful, and I think what's happening for her is she's trying to again, right now for me, the word this year has been depth, and I think she feels I do think that character is deep, and I think she has a deep capacity to feel and think and connect, and I think she's tired of obviously, I'm projecting a little bit, but I think she's tired of doing it in a way that's socially palatable, and so she's like, "I wanna connect with my depths," and so in a way, that bursting of the bubble and being grounded is that visual representation of I wanna explore. I wanna go deep in this bitch and get to know me, and see what happens. And I think with that, as you and I have been learning, is this faith in self to this connects back to the bridge thing, but something recently with all the drama that you know about that has emboldened me in different ways is I fucking trust myself to get there. I trust myself to get there. I trust myself to handle what happens on the other side of this. Okay, I say something that you don't like. I trust myself to deal with that response. I lose a person or two in my life. I trust myself to live without them. I make a mistake. I trust myself to make it right. But I am not gonna keep living within a box so that I never make the mistake in the fucking first place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's pop the bubble. Let's make some mistakes. Let's be
Let's pop
disliked.
that bubble.
Yeah,
Love that.
pop
Pop
that
that
fucking
bubble.
bubble. Yeah, I when I tell you, like,
Yeah.
movie 2, I really, really started to relate to Galinda's storyline, I was like, "Oh, shit,
Mhm.
this is real." And they're all the characters are relatable. I've been Nessa, I've been the
Mhm.
wizard, I've been we've all been everybody,
Yeah.
that's the point. We're all 360 degrees of a person. But, the feeling that I want to make sure I keep repeating is that afterwards, I was again, if I could do Galinda's journey differently with more urgency, I would. I do think I guess what I was trying to say is like I felt bad that she was lied to in the end. And I was like, why'd they do that? Like they continue to isolate her. And then I realized it's not an attack on her. It's an acceptance of who she is and an acceptance of who they are and what they want. And it goes back to that.
And what they want in life, they just need to move on. They're like, "This is not the life for us. We just need to go."
Yeah. And we can't wait for you to catch up. You're on your own journey.
Yeah.
Like, we can't wait.
Yep.
And so I
Yep.
think they, at first I was mad at them, but then I was like, yeah, nah, she's on her own journey and they left her with a lot of strength. Yeah, that I was just bringing that up because that was one thing I was grappling with for a couple of days in my, like, the back of my mind was that ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's always interesting how like each character made their own decisions. We can talk at the end about that. All right, we're getting to the end. Are you ready to move on? Do you still want to compare Glinda Alphaba?
No, I think they've done it themselves. They know what they're doing. Yeah, no, I'm good.
We're getting to the part of the song for good, which is basically the self-worth and like the mutual impact of both of them. It starts with Alphaba telling Glinda, "I'm limited." I like that because if you have seen the first movie and the second one, that's something my cousin, who's actually a music major, she like brought to my attention. She's like, you notice it in a lot of opera or whatnot. Each character usually they have like a specific tone or something that they every time the character shows up, you hear that music pop 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 like that. You know this is for this character. And then she's like,
Uh-huh.
sometimes it's a song. And I've noticed Alphaba throughout movie one and movie two, it was always the unlimited. It's always like her want to be unlimited, like she's got unlimited power. It's always that. And then it wasn't until it came back full circle and came back to Glinda, and then she said, "I am limited." She realized that she's not unlimited. Such a cool twist. And then she said, "Just look at me, not with your eyes, with theirs, and look at you. You were able to do all I couldn't do." She accepted that this is a system that we live in. At least that's my perspective. And it's hard to do the fight from the outside how she wants to do it. And she cannot but do it that way. So she's like, "I know you're good. I know you have good intention. You were able to do what I couldn't do. And now that you know the truth, here's the power. Here's that book of Grimmery. Here's the magic." She's like, "I don't know how to do magic." She's like, "I'll teach you. Like, you'll learn it. And I trust that you have it in you, that you are going to do the right thing." So, yeah, it's between Alphaba acknowledging her limits, passing the torch, and from that moment, it's both of them realizing how that brooks into like the For Good song that they both are talking to each other about. Oh, this is such a good song. You know which song I'm talking about at the end, right? When they both were like, "I
'Cause I
basically
knew
love
you, I've
you.
been
I
changed
love
for good.
you. Because I knew you, I have been changed." And we get to the door scene at the end, which I want to talk about that separately. But thoughts?
I I don't have initial thoughts. I'm kind of that's deep going like acknowledging limitations. What are your thoughts? Deep.
I do like that. What I liked about this twist of that movie is how usually you have a good and a bad character. I don't think there was a good or bad one. I mean, I would think the worst would have been like maybe Madame Morble, but like not even the wizard. Like the wizard is just like everybody has their own needs that they wanted in life and they were like going about it differently. Nessa, like whoever, everybody is like, you can see a lot of like background of characters what they wanted. And what I do like about Alphaba is that she's still a person. She's still a person with feelings and emotions. She is able to recognize where do I stop and where do I keep going. And she has this self-awareness of knowing when to say, "I'm good. I don't need to keep fighting. I need to just go live my life. I've tried to help you guys, and like maybe that's not the fight for me. And that's okay too.
Mm. Yeah, because all the animals ran away to that land that she was going to, right? So she was just gonna go be
Yeah.
with the animals at the end of the day?
Well, they came back at the end, but even though she still chose that this is not the life for me, and she intentionally asked her, she's like, I'm gonna clear your, and she's like, I don't want you to clear my name. I don't want any of this. I just want to move on. I just want to live in peace, and I just need to move on. I think there's power in that. Power in realizing that maybe you've done your part in this world. Like you've helped what you could help, and now you go rest. Let someone else do the work. You don't have to keep fighting till you die.
I feel a little conflicted because Alphaba's not gonna change. When she goes to this next world that we know nothing about, she will still be this person who stands up for people, who fights for people. She will just do it in a different place if needed, right? Because that's who she is. I think to your point, yeah, some battles, like, you know what? I'm just gonna like leave the US. I can't fix this fucking thing. I'm gonna fucking leave, right? And this is not my battle. I do think there's power in that for sure. But I don't think she's putting down her fight. I think she's just taking it to a different battleground. And we don't know what that is.
Yes, and I could see it like in relationships too. Like a lot of people, like it's good to know like there's no fixings for me that I can do anymore. I just need to leave. I just need to move on. I just like I just need my own peace.
And that's choosing a different battle, right? So for now she's gonna
Yeah.
choose peace, but peace it will be there until it's disturbed. And then she'll still like her life isn't over. Like she's gonna have more trials and tribulations.
Mm.
And she's choosing that the Wizard of Oz land is not it for her. And I know that was hard for her to your point of her journey because she was the one who sang about the rocks and about this is home and you can't leave. And then in the end she left. So I also don't love that because she was trying to force everyone else to stay because she wasn't ready to leave yet.
Remember, yes, but remember that was before her realization of like accepting it's okay to be a villain. I am a like this is when she realizes like now it's about me. She's been trying this whole time to do good for other people. She wanted to be with the wizard to help, to save the animals, to do this, to do that. But it just came time when like she's lost a lot of love and like had to do her self work and be like, maybe that's not the work for me to do. Maybe it's okay if I just be me and just go live a peaceful life with the love of my life. Like I just want to run away and do that. Like I'm done fighting and helping. And that's okay too.
Or yeah, she's done with that battle. I agree. She's done with it. And I do love what you said. Also, I think her style of leadership is more servant leadership. Like she doesn't need the limelight that Glinda needed. Maybe she did because she said, "Oh, I just wanted attention." But in the end, you're right. She's like, "I don't need this book. I don't need I don't need all of this." But you want it. You can do more with it. And I think that's true leadership. Like to your point, acknowledging your limitations, delegating and knowing who might be able to get the goal accomplished. Because at the end of the day, like it's not I keep saying her battle, but it's not her battle. She knows there's a wrong that needs to be righted in this town. And maybe she's not the best person to right the wrong.
For the job. And this brings me, now that we discussed Alphaba's end story, Glinda, that actually, I've been thinking about that too when it comes to Alphaba realizing who is the best person to do this, I guess, for this
Uh-huh.
job. And then there's something about Glinda that she saw that she could do this better than me. So sometimes, even though like the most qualified person to do the job might not be the right person to do the job, so when it comes to elections or people that we see in our life, like we talked about this, it's like if you run for election, I'll vote for you. But that made me think now, I will vote for you because I know your integrity. I know da 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 da. However, after watching this movie, now I'm like, but is it the right candidate to do the job? Like, yes, I trust Amel's integrity more, but maybe there's a specific style. Unfortunately, we live in this world that you need a different type of candidate that maybe is not as their morals aligned or like their integrity, but they have it in them where like they can fawn to go within and like make change from the inside. I just thought that was exclamation point.
I agree. I'm thinking of cognitive dissonance and like, yeah, it depends on your belief system. If your belief system is, family before everything, friends before everything, then you vote for your friend. And if it's the greater good and actually wanting to see change and I believe in systems or whatever, then you vote logically towards who can actually get us to the goal.
Make the change. Yeah.
Yeah,
I do think
yeah.
like
But
I'm
if you
still
know,
stuck on the integrity.
not to say, but if you know that like ML, even though she has integrity, can't really get this job done and you vote for me anyway, I think that's the cognitive dissonance.
That's another way to look at it.
What were you gonna say
Yeah.
about integrity?
No, no, you're right. I mean, I was gonna say that I still like right now where I'm at, I would still vote for you because I struggle with like integrity. Like it's important for me that I know the candidate has the integrity that I want, even though like another candidate, like, oh yeah, they might not showing me all the integrity, but I know they can get the job done. I still am not there yet, but it's just seeing this made me, raise an eyebrow. Like, from way
No,
to
well, that
look
makes
at it.
sense because the cognitive dissonance video that we watched is all about like when you're living in cognitive dissonance, you are not living in integrity. And so what you're saying actually makes a lot of even strategic sense because it's like if this candidate doesn't have as much integrity as this candidate, how can I trust anything they say that they will follow through on the promises they made? Integrity is everything. And so I I would think I would vote for the person that I trust the most, that moves in accordance with values and beliefs together. Because, like Alphaba, if they know they can't get the job done, the minute they see it, they will put someone in power who can get it done, who has the same level of integrity.
I trust that they can find the right person to get the job done because they have the integrity to say, I can do it. Glinda can. I'll teach her. That's a good point.
Yeah. But to me,
Yeah.
the value is integrity first.
No, I
Jesus.
like
I'm
that.
not going to run for anything, so let's not think about it.
So this leaves us to the end scene where Alphaba and Glinda, she puts her in the closet as she knows like this is her end, this is her demise, and they said like goodbye to each other. Out of the movie nugget for the listeners that this actually was an improvised scene that both Cynthia and Ariana yeah, they were so the script was that they would like put her in the closet, she closes the closet, and as this was happening, the director kept rolling. He did not cut the scene, let them improvise, like let them do their thing. And then what we saw, there was a lot of people fighting him that you need to cut the scene because it's not part of the script. No, we are limited with the amounts of seconds that we need to blah blah blah. But he wanted to keep it because it felt so genuine. It was improvised. The I love you too from both of them. That was not part of the script. Like they just felt it in the moment. And both of them holding the door from the other side, it was just complete improvised. Like they both were like in the moment thinking like I want to reach to my friend. I want to read like that moment was all just them like as actresses. I
I
loved it.
love
I
that
think that
moment.
was the highlight. Like I saw because like and like the timing of it and how long they kept me as a viewer holding on to that like I'm feeling the pain on both sides. It was a beautiful 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 moment for both.
That's so fucking deep. Yeah. I loved that moment. The minute the door closed and they both clung to it.
Yep, because they knew that was the last time they're gonna see each other. And Glinda knew like her friend's gonna kill herself, and Alpha was like, I will be lying to her for the rest of my life now. This is the last time I'll see her. Yeah.
There's also a conversation there, which is a super tangent and we don't have to have today, but about allowing someone to decide when their life will end. We have a culture or a society of force someone to live, whether it's anti-abortion or like if you know someone is ready to take to self-harm, you have to save them. You have to force them to be here and to see the light. And it's like, yeah, but this society is not built to hold me. And so I thought that was an interesting small commentary or maybe big on it was Alphaba's decision to end her existence. And Ariana just said, okay, through
Yeah,
tears, obviously, but she was
yeah.
like, all right, if this is what you want, this is what you want. It's really interesting.
And she followed through because if you go back to the first movie, it starts so it's a full circle. It starts with Galinda showing up in the bubble, announcing to everyone the witch is dead. And she asks her, she's like, I don't want you to clear my name. I want this to stay the way it is. I don't want any of this. And it was hard because like I rewatched the first movie the day after and like re-seeing the beginning of it, you see Glinda in a very different perspective because you see how like they were acting like Glinda, like we heard that you were her friend, and then she was like, oh yeah, I was, and they're like, and then she was like, oh well, I kind of like knew her, but I mean our paths did cross, and then they were asking her, I was like, is Wicked like how does Wicked happen? And she's like, that's a very good question. And then you can see like she started to tell her story of like Alphaba where like she wants to tell them she's good, but she was holding back to like not clear it, but she couldn't help herself but try to clear it by saying how her father was with her and blah blah blah. Like she said a little bit of that and she kind of like left them to make their own conclusion on this. But yeah, you just see the whole thing. When I first watched the first movie, I was like, what a fucking bitch. Like, oh, I knew her passing. Like, that's your freaking friend. But, like, now that you know, you go back and rewatch it, and it's very different.
Yeah, she
And
was
the
respecting
other
her wishes.
nugget, when you're yes, and when you rewatch it, you rewatch that first scene when she's singing "The Wicked Witch is dead," and like, and she says like basically the lyrics is like the wicked's life is lonely. You'll be lonely, and now that it's full circle, when you go back and rewatch it, you see that she's singing about herself, that she
Uh,
is the wicked witch. She's the one who's lonely because her friend moved on.
and her man.
Yeah.
Yeah, her whole
And her
world.
man.
She is in a world of one. She is in a world of one where she has the
Yeah.
truth that nobody else has.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see like when she sings, she's like, the wicked's life is lonely because they're like, yeah, she's singing about herself. Beautiful,
Yeah.
I guess full circle moment. But yeah.
You made me wanna watch part
Anything
1 again.
else? I mean, that's all I had. I think you would enjoy it differently, like just rewatching one. I want to watch part two again, especially after this dive, because like there's so many nuggets I want to like relive. But yeah, anything else you want to add? I mean, I can talk about different characters. The only other comment that I might have is Fiero. It bothered me that Alphaba made him with that magic. I know she didn't intend it, but like he's living forever. That's kind of fucked up. Like you're gonna die after a couple of years, and like now he's with you, and he's just gonna like live forever. Like this dude, because like basically the magic words were like make him never die, make him never like that. I was like this dude is like a scarecrow. Like you can rip him to pieces, and he's still gonna be conscious about it, and he's still gonna be like living. Is just like, I think that doesn't sit well with me.
I think she could burn him when he's ready. He'll burn.
Oh, here you go. That's a good point. Just burn him.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Um, yeah, that's that's all I had.
I will say one thing I did not understand is, I don't buy the antagonists fall from power, both the wizard and the Dr. Warble or whatever her name is. I don't
Madame Warble.
buy not that I don't buy it, I'm having a hard time understanding. He's not he is a bad person, and so what? Now he knows he has a daughter he accidentally killed. Like, it was hard for me to believe that he cared that much, so much that he would leave and never return, like Simba, the cub who thought he killed his father and was manipulated by Mufasa, that you made this big mistake. Now you have to leave and never come back. Like it was giving me those vibes when Glinda was like, that was your daughter, get the fuck out of here. And he felt real guilt.
I think I do see your point because it's fast. For me, it was kind of realistic because basically Glinda, when her bubble popped, she's like, fuck this shit. I lost everyone. I lost my friend. I need to like, who am I? I want to be Glinda the good. this is what I need to do. And she has power. Her reputation, people believed in her. People thought she's like people just believed in her as much as they believed in the wizard. So I think
Mm.
that's the card that she played with him, is like, I need you to get the fuck out because I'm destroying everything. Like you're not gonna get this. And she is liked, I think, amongst this world, that she was able to play this card on top of him probably maybe feeling guilt that he has his daughter. Because in the first movie, he was saying that he always wanted a family and he always wanted,
Um,
you know, like, yeah. So, and he said like he always looked at the citizens of Oz as his like family and like he takes care of them. And this is how he thought it should, like, you create fear so that you fix the problems. And the problems were like people were starving. There was like I guess like there was like no food or something like that. Like there was this phase, and like, he's like, oh, let's blame the animals to distract them and blah blah blah. That's how it all was created.
oh,
Um,
so that's like Nessa
but
who
yeah,
like
that
was
was the
trying
part on
to
that.
that's like Nessa who's trying to force love. So he's like, I want love. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
force it. I'm gonna manipulate. And
Yep.
so that backstory is helpful. That like he has to reckon with killing his own dreams. And then the other part that I was a little having trouble grasping is like this wizard lady is really actually one of the most powerful characters in the whole film, next to Elphaba, maybe more powerful, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why why
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
why is Ariana's like tough energy and the fact that the wizard left? So what? She's the only one who has real scary fucking power. Why did she secede?
It sounds like she can only manipulate the weather when it comes to magic. So that's the part that I'm still have question marks. Like, okay, well, if she's in a cage, like she can still like cause a tornado or something to happen. So I do agree with you on that. There's a little loophole there. The other side is, I think maybe it goes back to, or maybe this is me just coming up with that conclusion, is like Glinda is too good and people believed in her that like she was able to threaten and like control whatever she wants to control. Like, she's like, no, you're not getting this. This is the reality, and like you're just gonna go. Like, there's no even wizard, because it sounds like Madame Morble had nothing. She was the puppet master of the wizard. She was controlling him and telling him what to do and come up with the ideas. But when there's no wizard, because she came just like, there's no wizard. He's gone. So what are you gonna do now? You have no powers now. So yeah.
Maybe. I do think they equally have truths about each other. She has the truth that Galinda has no real magic and has been lying to these people for as long as she's been lying to these people. They both hold the truth that they are lying to the public. One wants to lie for good, sure, and the other one wants to lie for power, but they're both lying. So, yeah, so I think that's the part I'd
You
love
know
to
what
know
I'm
more
laughing
about.
about? I'm laughing about because I just saw like an Instagram clip that someone made about this Madame Morble, because like the scene when Glinda goes to her office to confront her, she's sitting at her laptop and then she looks in the corner and there's like all bunch of different flyers about the Wicked and like different forms, and then they had a scene that said like she's like her job is not sorcery, it's actually like a Photoshop pro, because it was like I think someone that was like, oh, she's doing different designs on Photoshop. A Wicked, run for your life. It was like all different like brochures that she's creating. I thought that was really hilarious. Like that
It
someone
is.
made,
She's nothing more
that
than a
all she was
marketing
doing is
genius.
photoshopping and sending lies. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's the one who would drop all the flyers on people in color. I also liked how, like, people outside of Oz, it seemed like, didn't have colorful newspapers flying down. They had just, like, boring newspapers, and then people in Oz had, like, colorful flyers, and it was giving me vibes
Mm-hmm.
of, like, Hunger Games and, like, districts, like, how different
Yes.
districts get
Yes.
information and things like that.
1000%. Yep. 1000%. I love that too. So yeah, I think we should rate the movie. I know we're coming to almost our second end of the second part of this podcast. Um, what's your rating?
Out of what, 5 or 10?
Let's say
I guess it's
10.
out of 5. Okay, 10. I would no, it's 5. It's always
Okay,
5.
let's do out of 5. That's fine.
I would say you're gonna be so upset. 3,
I'm
three and a
not.
half.
It's your rating.
3, 3.5.
Okay. I mean, 3.5 is more than average, which is still good.
Mhm.
I would give it maybe a 4.5. I do give the first one a 5. I I think it was a bit slower the second part than the first part. I obviously do enjoy all those complications of everything. It's just very different vibes. I think the first one was like light and fluffy, introduction to the characters and like the buildup of Alphaba. I think Alphaba was more dominant in the first, part. I think Glinda was the highlight in the second part and her journey, her uprising and Alphaba's like exit. But there was more of like fluffy friends, like kind of like High School Musical movie in the first, and like the second one moved into like dark and like truth and honesty and lies and fighting judgment and da da da. Da. So there was, it's very. I think after a couple watch, I might change my mind. I just love Wicked. All what we talked about today is what I love about it. It triggers my brain so much with so many scenes because I don't just watch it. I was like thinking about different scenarios of like how to relate to it and whatnot. So it's a 4 or 4.5 for me. It's a 3.5 for Emma.
Yeah. Yeah, movie 1, I would say is the 3.5, movie 2 is the 3. I think I did like the
Okay.
I liked the high school version. I think there's a subjectivity here, obviously, with everything, but the pull is that I'm having a hard time with any films that talk about goodness and what you're supposed to do and all that stuff. I'm a little, what's it called? Not desensitized, but disillusioned by movies
Mm-hmm.
like that right now because I feel like so many people didn't get it when it was real. And I think that's also why I have a hard time. So I think the movie itself was great, costuming was great, music superb, acting amazing. So all those things, but that personal thing is weighing on weighing on me. So I just want to make that clear. The movie itself is a good to
I
watch,
do.
but go ahead.
I remember you mentioned that when you watch the first movie, you're like, it triggers me that people know what they need to do and we still need to make movies about it. But in reality, people don't do it. I get it. But that's the beauty of those movies, It's just a reminder. Maybe another person's heart will change or see a different perspective of things. So it is what it is.
In the meantime,
Mm-hmm.
I will be starting my writing challenge and hoping to do like a daily like writing challenge where I just write and then read my shit out loud. And so you can look for my page in the meantime for that and follow that until we're back in January and then follow both. That's what I would say.
Yes, and I'm going to be in Lebanon next month, so we're both taking a break. But if you want more content, I think there's a lot of episodes that we've been dropping, this whole past year. So if you missed anything, go back and rewatch it. If you want to know more about what Amel's doing, she's posting a lot on her stories now, so you can go and follow her and like just be nosy, I guess. Watch her cringe moments. She loves her cringy stuff. Um, and if you want some financial education slash know what the fuck I'm doing, you can follow my page. And we are booking interesting guests too for the new year. So, I guess keep an eye on that. And we're excited to just see everyone in January. Thank you for doing Wicked with me.
Thank you for letting me. I love this conversation. And also, hey, subscribe, follow, comment, please. Thanks so much.
Yes. See you in a year. Happy holidays.
Happy
Bye.
holidays. Bye. I hit stop. I'm waiting for it to actually.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, please consider leaving a comment and a review. It helps us improve and reach more people.
We're all just trying to figure it out one conversation at a time. So go easy on yourself. Trust the process. And remember, it's okay, Habibi.